Hello, I just wrote a movie. Do you want to hear about it?
Sure, sounds fun.
It starts out with a bunch of words floating through space, and then you see a spaceship fly overhead. Then you see a bunch of stormtroopers chasing Princess Leia.
Wait, isn't that from Star Wars?
Oh, have you seen that one?
Yeah. Listen, can I give you some advice? Have you ever heard of plagiarism?
Plagiarism? What is that?
Plagiarism is when you claim someone else's work or idea as your own.
Hi, my name is Alicia and my storyboard is on plagiarizing. I'm a sixth grade special education teacher, and this year I've given several research projects. And this is actually my third year teaching. This is the first year because of Common Core that I'm incorporating a lot more research-based projects. Well, my students don't quite know the correct way to cite their sources. For almost every project, my students plagiarize. They'll type in whatever they're looking for in Google and then find a website and then copy the information directly from the website and then present it to the class as if it's their own work, not giving credit to where they get the information from or writing down the website that they have got the information from. One of the things I've done to help my students prepare for writing very well detailed research projects and citing the sources is by start them off with the first step by just writing down where you get your information from. That's all I want them to do at first was just write down the information, where you got your information from, what website, what book, magazine, or wherever. And then I took them a step further to teaching them how to cite and put quotes into their paper to give the author or authors credit for their work. Well, I did some research, and well, the first thing is, what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is copying someone's ideals or words exactly the way it's written and portraying it as if it's your own work. During my research, I found several reasons why plagiarism occurs. One article that I did read, it stated that a lot of middle school students, they know that plagiarizing is wrong, it's a form of cheating. But the reason they do it is because there's really no real consequence for them plagiarizing someone else's work. And I find that statement to be true because a lot of times teachers don't give students a zero for plagiarizing. We may take points off and tell them, next time don't do it again. But based on the research, that is one of the main reasons that plagiarism is occurring so much in middle school is because there's no real consequences for it. Now there's another reason students tend to plagiarize. It's because they have very high expectations and they feel they're unable to meet those expectations in such a short time. So they tend to copy high quality work and present it as their own so they are able to meet the expectations of the teacher or whoever. Also, plagiarism occurs when we wait to the last minute to do an assignment and we can't adequately read all the articles and do the research that's necessary in citing the sources correctly. Insight is another reason that students tend to plagiarize is they really don't know the correct way to cite their sources to give credit to the author for the work that they are using in their paper. Some of the ways that plagiarism can be prevented is by teachers having an open discussion, letting the students know that plagiarizing is unethical and it is stealing. It's the same way as if you go into the store and you take something without purchasing it. It is stealing.
Wanna be busted. I don't wanna put the hurt on you, but you better believe it when I tell you that I finally got the dirt on you. You're busted.
They also need to make sure students have the correct material and they have been taught the correct way to cite sources and to give the authors credit. Oftentimes, students really don't know the correct way to cite sources, and sometimes they unknowingly plagiarize. And I feel that in college classes, this tends to happen a lot. We know that plagiarizing is unethical, it is stealing, but we're not quite sure the correct way to cite information that we are using. Another way to prevent plagiarism is have students create a portfolio of their best work. Also, creating original or unique assignments, such as having the students create a news article or having them be a reporter and reporting on a certain event or certain information, are all unique assignments that could possibly lessen the chances of a student plagiarizing. Now, let me just back up a minute. There are several forms of plagiarizing. If a student buys a paper offline, that is considered cheating. If a student has someone else do their work for them, such as a friend or a relative, and they turn that paper in as their own work, that is also considered plagiarizing. Also, you can plagiarize yourself by turning in work that you have already done already. For example, if you take a college course and you may not pass it, but you try and turn in the same paper that you used in the previous class and not create original work, that is also considered plagiarizing. And that was something new to me that I didn't know, that you can plagiarize yourself. I thought if it was your ideals originally and you turn it in again, it's still your original work and ideals. But through my research, I learned you can plagiarize yourself. Also, my last point I want to talk about is the outcome. As I stated before, that a lot of teachers in elementary, middle, and high school really don't hold students accountable for when they plagiarize, but when they reach college level, they are held accountable. So one thing that teachers could do is have students turn in a rough draft, give them a chance to correct it, and if they turn a paper in again after you have pointed out it has been plagiarized, or they have turned it into a program such as Turnitin, and it's still showing that they have plagiarized, then we have a major issue. That's when action needs to be taken. The student may receive a 0
Wanna be busted. I don't wanna put the hurt on you.
on that assignment, and that assignment may cause the student to fail the course. In college, if you plagiarize, you get 0 for the assignment, then they report you to the school board, and you could possibly be expelled from school for plagiarizing. So it is very important to remember that as an educator, it is our duty to make sure that when we give students research assignments or any type of writing assignment where they have to use sources, that we make sure our students understand the correct way to cite sources, so they're not caught in a situation where they have plagiarized information and may receive a 0 for the assignment. The best way to go about this is to have students either do an original assignment where it's hard for them to plagiarize, have them turn into programs such as Turnitin that checks for plagiarism, and also having students turn in a rough draft where the teacher checks their information to make sure they haven't plagiarized. So before giving an assignment, make sure your students know the correct way to cite information. because we don't want our students unknowingly plagiarizing just because they didn't know the correct way to cite sources.